Is it anybody out there? Read some words from my subconscious. Yeah, mortalized. I'm so bionic in my subconscious. I be spitting, I never run out of options. Wisdom and logic, predicted it like a Nostradamus. I meditate in silence, so much inventory in here. Anything you need, you can find it. Flashbacks of hard times, horror movies in my mind. Roll up the herb cause it helps me unwind. Look around here, ain't no telling what you might find. Old crimes that can't even escape my mind. Traveled the world, took so many notes, wrote many quotes. All I seem to have is time, but tell me where it goes. Euphoria, paranoia from way before. Operate this computer with ancestors' codes. These be some words from my subconscious. Is it anybody out there? Words from my subconscious. Is it anybody out there?
Consistent, as well as have efficient and effective energy for long periods, has been my routines daily. And my routines begin as soon as I wake up. As soon as I wake up, before I even get out of bed, I do a 10 to 15 minute chakra balance meditation. So then after I do that chakra balance, I then have the clearing of any debris in my energy field. Along with that, I'm also...
All we gotta do is be kind to ourselves and learn to sit in whatever feeling is present, because emotion is energy in motion, and we gotta learn to move with that energy that is current, because it's a guide.
Body. The light body is also related to our psychic senses, the senses beyond the five. And the light body, or the psychic body, which is also tied with the chakras, is then that bridge, or that binding point, or the portal gateway, or layer 7 to 2, to be able to be felt, experienced, and expressed through the physical avatar.
Yes, sir.
Grand day, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Brother man, how are you today over there in Germany?
Oh man, I'm happy about the intro. I'm doing great. Real good. Like last week on the first episode, what like we've just shown, like, you know, I was in a different state. I just came back from travels. I had lots of things going on, even physically, that I went through the weeks before that. And now I feel like it's, you know, I've just come out of this low point, and it's steadily moving forward up. So it's a good time. I'm very grateful to be here, and even to have a conversation about our topic today, because, you know, one reason why I had that physical stuff going on energetically, it was because I was cleansing, and like I just had to let go of many things, and you know, diet and conscious consumption is so important. I've just read something about my natal chart, and I have Venus in my 6th house, so I also have to learn to not over consume, right, with anything, if it's sex, drugs, whatever it is, right, food. I really have to. It's a real work on myself to find that balance. So I think that people will get anything and good things out of this conversation. Mhm.
Yes.
And how are you, sir?
Wow.
What's happening?
Well, first of all, I just wanted to say I'm grateful to be here, and I'm grateful for your journey and what you have overcome in the last week, and glad to hear that you are growing and expanding with the lessons and the wisdom. As far as I am, I'm doing really well. I have a retreat coming up tomorrow that I'm hosting, and it's an inner child focused healing retreat. It's going to be holistic, plant-based. I'll be providing lunch and dinner, as well as doing a inner child healing workshop where we'll be going deep into childhood trauma, masculine wounds, feminine wounds, how they can pattern into our adult life. And then we'll be doing some journaling, guided meditation, and then I'll have some card readings and services available for people, as well as a ancient hermetics workshop that another brother named Adam is going to be holding. And we'll be doing some live painting, as well as some fire spinning and flow arts at nighttime. So it's going to be a beautiful time. If you're someone that likes retreats, you're someone that likes events, you're in the United States, or you like to travel, I'm going to be hosting many from here on out. So just keep an eye out, follow me, subscribe if you want to be a part of my retreats. And also I'm open to other practitioners and other healers, musicians and artists to be featured in my retreat spaces as well. So I've just been really focusing on that, staying grounded, staying clear in my vessel so I can be the best I can be to host that space. And then also just really moving through a lot of challenges and shadows and attachment energy as well when it comes to my dad's well-being and his health. So that's of course been a challenge, but I feel like it's getting easier because I'm starting to dissolve that attachment more and more. Even though he is my father and I'm his son, it's of course difficult to just have no attachment whatsoever. But I've had to learn to really, continue to deep dive even deeper into faith and trust that his soul and his journey is in divine hands, even if it's not what I would like it to be or what I want it to be as right now. So I've been doing good on that side, even though it's been tough. And other than that, just really keeping it solid and not getting into too much extra stuff these days. Thanks for asking.
Not too much extra stuff, I think this is a great point where we can start going in to the topic. Like how much do we need? And when the point is there that we have all that we needed in terms of eating in this regard, like consuming food or drink, our body naturally tells us when we're full. How many of us have overeaten before? Like it's very tempting to follow that deliciousness of this human experience, whatever it is, right? Food, sex, another example. Like, like to overcome that lust and that more or less we all carry with us, really depending on either how much work we ourselves put into it to deal with the lust or with the desire of, right? And the right diet, or if we, haven't really put too much effort into our physical health, right? And we look at it like, what does it mean to be healthy? I think we all kind of know how it is to be healthy. Just a question of how much effort do we actually consciously put into our health. Because if I know that overeating is bad for me, and I have like one chocolate bar after the other, like, and I feel like shit the next day, or I wake up feeling like I have a baby in my stomach, as you've just mentioned once in a conversation that we had. Like, like we feel like shit if we do over consume, no matter what it is, right? We got to find the balance and have a healthy diet, as the beautiful pictures just showed, right? And if we learn to balance what we put into our system, then we see how we walk through life with more ease and grace. Like challenges that come up, we can see them for what they are, we can find a solution, and we move on. If my mind is not clear or my body is not clear because I just look for the next stimulation and I put one thing after the other in my system, then I don't have time to really reflect and be in the moment of now, because I'm always chasing the next thing. And how many people in this world at this time like chase the next thing and they're never satisfied, or they're satisfied for this for like that period of time, like super small, and then they lack again because it's that short-term gratification or satisfaction for long-term suffering. And it's like, if I put in the work now, if I decide to fast, if I decide to eat a healthy diet, that is suitable for me, the win that I have in the long term, over weeks, months, years, like this is so important. And I think this is something that people have to be aware of. Like, is it really worth it right now to do it, to eat the way I eat? Or can I adjust certain things in order for me to have like a long-lasting, ever good health, and become healthier and healthier, more vibrant and more vibrant? People know how it looks to be vibrant and vital, right? We all know it. Just a question like, how much are we actually consciously putting the effort into our health? Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Nodding over there. Mm-hmm.
100%. That's definitely been something very noticeable for me as well, is the difference of when I'm over consuming something, and not even just over consuming, but also consuming something that's acidic or toxic for me, and feeling that difference from when I'm eating or consuming something that is uplifting and supportive. So for me, I've been on this journey of going through different diets for about 10 years now. And through these 10 years, I've explored many different diet styles out there. I've been, of course, the traditional American diet, as I was born, like just about everybody else is born into here in this country. And that traditional American diet is good old hamburgers, hot dogs, cheese, dairy, everything, bleached flour, white everything. Yeah, just all of these super processed, stripped of nutrition foods, as well as toxic inflammation creating foods as well. And it began for me around 2013, 2014, when I started embarking upon my conscious path of self. And I had a good friend of mine, his name was John, and he had already been a Reiki master into shamanism and all these different things. And he wanted to explore diets. So I explored diets with him. And we went with starting with vegetarian. So we took away just like little bits of meat, and then started working off with dairy. And we still eat eggs, plants, fruits, vegetables, things of that nature. And then we would also try out like bison meat, venison, and fish as well, and kind of like keep those as the only meats. And then we also explored straight vegan and then raw vegan as well. And then I've also explored Ayurvedic. So I went through my whole body profile and went through Ayurvedic diet for a little bit as well. And through all these different experiences, I found for myself, and this is what's key to me at least, is finding for your own self what is good for you. So through these experiences of putting myself through these different diets and seeing for my own self firsthand with my own body what works for my body or not, I was able to come to the conclusion that what resonates for me with my lifestyle, my purpose, the way I use my energy, the way I receive, hold space, and transmute energy daily, that a plant-based and light diet was most suited for my being. Now, I feel like this changes and alters depending upon, number one, your DNA, number two, the lifestyle you're living, number three, the type of work, service, and way that you're interacting with energy on a daily. I think all these kind of things factor into what we're consuming. And the best way I like to put it for people is do what I call intuitive eating. So just feel intuitively in the moment, like, does this resonate for me to eat? Rather than just kind of going straight finite, black and white. Oh, I'm vegan. That means I can never touch any of these things. If I touch these things, oh my God. No, like, whoa, I'm touching these things. So I wanted to get that stigma out of my mind. I was just like, yeah. So I wanted to get that stigma out of my mind. And I just like started accepting, like, we can eat anything we want to eat. It's just all about cause and effect. And tap in and tune in the present moment with what you're eating and see how your body reacts to it. And then just really go from there. That's just what I do at this point. So I still eat fish sometimes. I still eat a little bit of dairy every once in a while. But other than that, I'm mainly plant-based. And, going with what you were saying with consumption, another thing too is I started really learning even more deeply about the holistic and multidimensionalness of our human being and how it operates and functions when it comes to the electromagnetism, as well as the cellular health, as well as our chakra centers and other things as well. And I started realizing and coming into awareness of how the food, the drinks, and any type of energy that we are consuming is altering, affecting, and changing the chemistry of our cellular and biological being. So that was another thing that I also put into consideration too with what I was consuming. Over to you, brother.
Yeah, thank you, sir. You know what you said just right things there, and I was able to see many relations to the way I experimented with my diet. I see myself as a human experiment. This is how I see myself, Jarne, like in this time. And I experiment with food, with alcohol, with drugs, with cigarettes. Like, I've tried so many things. And what I came to realize is that my intuition never lies. And you mentioned intuitive eating, right? So I explore intuitive eating in terms of intuitive consumption. Like if I'm drawn right now to go out to have a drink, as an example, because this is it just feels right intuitively. Like, who am I to judge that you shouldn't drink because alcohol makes your energy slower? Or your vibration slows down. Who am I to judge? Because I don't know. right? What your purpose is, what you like, why you do things the way you do them. Because there's a reason behind everything that we do. And if someone says like, I need meat, you know, I was vegan for a while, I was vegetarian for a while. No, I had like a week on only fruits. I had like 21 days coconut water only on Bali with like fresh coconuts. So I tried out so many different things and got insight into my own psyche and my own body, and my diet changes. The things that I consume changes when I change the circle that I'm with. I'm changing my environment, the people around me, the task that I'm here to perform right now with the people that I'm in, or the work that I need to do. You know, like there's always a shift, and like I suddenly get have the desire to eat a kebab just because like the people I hang out with, they eat kebab. You know, like, and it might be okay once in a while to do that, but I feel if I'm eating too much of it, like it ain't good for me. You know, I can, and I do enjoy it right now at times to eat a kebab, but I don't need it. And I just allow myself to have certain things at certain times, right? With the right intention, right? Knowing why I do what I do. Like, and I think this is where we are at the core of the thing that we're talking about. My intention, you know, that I have, that you have, that we have when we consume things. So, over to you. Man, your eyes were just like shining brightly right now. I love it.
It's a meditative flow. What can I say? You know, and a big part of this too is as beings that are, you know, these vessels of continuous motion and circulation. Mm-hmm. Now, circulation on multiple levels. Circulation physically, your blood flow. Circulation metaphysically, your electrical system, your neurons, and your ability to tap in and connect, streamline with consciousness as well. And if we are just constantly consuming and consuming, and we're never really creating or outputting masculine energy, then we can find ourselves becoming very dense and very blocked up within our being. And then these densities and blockages can then manifest into our chakra system, and they can also manifest into the streamline of our current. And when I say our current, I mean the electromagnetic currency that's flowing through you. Now, why would this be important? Well, if we know about the electromagnetic system and our multidimensional being as a human, we are beings that function off of our current. We function off of the amount of electromagnetism that is able to circulate and flow through our auric field in our being. So the more that we are blocked up in this electromagnetic field and within our physical body as well, then it's going to create more resistance within our energy field. And then this resistance can then manifest into this ease throughout our being, as well as other imbalances. And consumption is something that really encompasses all energy. So we can also touch on, you know, what we're watching on screens, the type of environment we are keeping ourselves around, and the things that we are continuously choosing to allow ourselves to be a part of. And these things go into the subconscious container when we experience them. And when we are taking these things to our subconscious container, it begins to very microly program our being. And we may be conscious or unconscious of the programming taking place. But on a subtle level, it's scientifically been proven now that even if we are conscious or unconscious of what we are experiencing and what we are allowing ourselves to be in front of or consume, it's still getting picked up on an information and energetic level in our conscious mind into our subconscious mind. The subconscious mind doesn't really know better. It just knows to collect information and to store it. So it is up to us with the conscious mind or the higher intelligence of ourselves to then be the guardian, kind of, be the program keeper of that subconscious container of what kind of programs are going to be running inside of our being. And then lastly, I also want to say too, along with the consumption of food and other diet things, is try to remember too that we are vibratory beings. As Nikola Tesla says, if you want to know the secrets to the universe, think of the universe as energy, frequency, and vibration. So that includes you, your human instrument as well, energy, frequency, and vibration. Now, very simple way to put this without going too far into it is, if your being is a organic earth being and it vibrates at a certain frequency because of the organic compounds that's made of the earth, then in order to, either reestablish or uplift a being or a form that is made of that material, then you'd think you'd have to use that same or similar material frequency, right? Or a frequency of material that is a little bit higher vibration in order to bring it back to a balanced or uplifted state. So put that into perspective of what you're consuming vibrationally. Is what you're consuming of a balanced vibration of earth, as in it's an organic frequency of earth? Or is it something that may be a little bit higher vibrational than the balanced frequency of earth, such as a plant medicine that might have been from another star origin, or other compounds that could be of higher vibration? But then on the contrary, if we're just constantly consuming artificial frequencies, we're constantly consuming synthetic frequencies that are of a lower vibrational nature. And when I say this lower vibration, I'm not saying, oh, let's demonize it, oh, it's bad, you should never experience these things. It's just more of factual energy, octaves, and vibration on the scale of oneness. So if we are consuming things that are of a lower density or lower vibration, then we do simple math with ourselves, then it's probably more likely that it's going to continue to bring down the vibration of our cell and biostructure, as well as our emotional, mental, and astral health as well. Mm-hmm. So those are deep things I really had to consider about what I was consuming. Are the vibrations of what I'm consuming going to support me to heal, be balanced, or uplifted? Or is it going to make me sluggish, tired, depressed, mopey, have no energy? And you can tap in the moment and really feel that for yourself with what you're consuming.
Yeah. And, I would like you to talk on how, because we can tap into that and feel the vibration of food. What are you telling someone who says, I don't feel anything, right? Because if I don't understand, many people I met, they, something I have to share here right now. I asked someone how he knew how to make a decision. And usually we say because of the gut feeling. He said something different this time, and I've never heard that before. He said because of my head feeling. My head feeling made the decision. So the feeling in my head made the decision. And I'm like, well, it's something new for me to ponder about. But Christo, what I would like you to talk about is like, you know, like what shifts do people go through from like, okay, yeah, I'm totally just eating whatever is in front of me. I've never thought about that before. I may have lots of sugar or wheat or just eat processed stuff. Like from going from there, which I reckon you've been there too, as so I was there too, once in a while, and to now. Just like explain a little bit like the process of like clearing your internal world, right, to feel those subtle energies more.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So are you kind of asking what I did to kind of take steps into more of the healthier lifestyle that I was wanting to live?
Less that, I think this is very clear to me and what you've said before. Like what I would like you to go into is like, you know, because like there's like the subtle energies that you feel now, you haven't felt 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So what does this with what is it doing with your being to become aware more and more of those subtle energies that are around you, if it's all of it, basically?
Okay. So, gosh, I feel like this is always like, man, this is how foundational these are. I even brought up in the last episode, and it's my routines. Yeah, my routines are everything. I mean, they're obviously not everything, but they
and in time they are very, very valuable.
My routines, like, and the reason why I bring up my routines is because my routine specifically, and if you guys tapped in on the last episode or in any other time I've talked about my routines, I start my day with a chakra balance meditation before I go to bed, and then I do about 10 minutes of yoga right after. And the reason why I bring this up is because these practices that I'm doing, they're not just practices, you know, like when we go into the micro and in-depth details of what these things are doing for me, well, if we're taking the time to clear out and activate our chakra centers as soon as we start the day, that helps us be able to have our inner prana, or our kundalini, creative vital life force energy, to be able to naturally be activated and flowing in a organic, self-sustainable way. And through that, you actually awaken your organs. You help awaken the chemicals in your body. You help your blood start flowing properly. And then if you know about chakras, then you know that chakras also directly connect you as a portal, basically, to your mental aspects, your emotional aspects, as well as your spiritual aspects in your physical life. So by doing this every rising, I'm already addressing, bringing light and healing energy to every aspect that the 7 chakras carry. And if we know about the 7 chakras, they carry every aspect of our physical human life. So having that addressed right away, that helps get that consciousness, that chi, that inner prana flowing. And that's the goal typically as human beings. You know, we want to have as much energy and activation and clearing as we can inside of ourselves. And along with that, the yoga. The yoga is a great way to help bring integration of all of your layers into your physical self, your mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects. So by doing these practices, which is the way of really tapping into your inner power and being in your sovereignty and not utilizing substances, outside things, people, or your activation and clearing within, then it can really put you in a place where you can be more solidified in yourself. You're more grounded, more at ease, and more at peace internally. And with this, you start to clear attachments naturally. You start to feel no desire for needing a substance or needing to go eat something that is toxic for you, because you'll feel that softness, that grace, that unconditional love flowing through you, which is what that prana is, what that consciousness is that unconditional love, that grace, that intuitive nature flowing through you. So through these practices and routines, this is more active and flowing through me naturally as I go through my day since I get up out of bed. And through that helps build a foundation of strengthening for me to have the fortitude to really be more conscious and have more of a grounded and centered approach to my decisions going on throughout the day. Now, I will say one of the biggest things that really helped me take the steps is deciding to take action on what I was getting tired of feeling. So, you know, we can really easily tend as human beings to do this thing where we act like we're helpless. And we'll be experiencing something that we feel and we don't like it. But for some reason, we'll just be like, oh, I feel this, I don't like it. And then just continue on with life. And then we would do the same exact things that would then put us in the same pattern. So for me, it was kind of like just straight up as a human being, like being real with myself, like stop playing games with myself. Like, if you know this is how you're going to feel by eating this, then you should probably maybe do something different. And then along with that, being able to have the humor, you know, having humor about it is really healthy.
Yeah.
Being able to give grace as well. And that's one of the biggest things that I could express is being able to have humor and being able to give yourself grace to the process, knowing that it is okay if you're not exactly where you want to be, but you can also take small steps and you can also substitute things. You can subtract and add in small steps towards your goals. So that's another thing too, is writing down smaller goals to the bigger goals was also helpful for me. Whether it was my diet, whether it was building my business independently, figuring out how to start producing podcasts. There's always a way that we can break down these bigger goals into even smaller steps that are more tangible for our mind to really see.
Yeah.
And then through that tangibleness of our conscious mind, it can then feed our ego and tell our ego, like, okay, here's our steps. This is how we can do it. We have it secure and we can do this. This is what it looks like. And I posted a really good reel last week of a teacher, and he was teaching these kids about this. And what can happen is that, and this happens to me a lot. Like when I say a lot, I mean a lot, because I always have things scheduled and planned and stuff. So sometimes I get into this mindset where it's like, okay, I'm here now, and then my goal or what is coming up is there. But then what will happen is I'll go into this like scared mode or I'll go into this fear, or I'll go into this unknown energy, and I'll be like, oh man, like it seems impossible. Like, how am I supposed to do that? Or will I even be able to do that? And then I just start harping on that. But then
The
when I
void
learned
of
is like,
you know,
yeah,
the void of creation. Yeah,
yep,
can be scary. It feels scary at times.
exactly.
It does. Mm.
So it would feel like these things were really large leaps and like almost near impossible. So that's when I started introducing to myself smaller steps, like just really being present and being like, okay, now what can I do today in any type of way to start feeding towards that goal? Whether it's gathering resources, whether it's reaching out to the people I need to reach out to, whether it's doing an energy clearing on myself so I can be in a correct state, whatever it may be. And I found that being more and more present with my goals, I was able to see that being present is how we create the future. So the more that we're present, and the more that we're using the present towards those goals, then it makes that future in the now. And we're embodying and working the steps of that goal. So that's been big for me, is breaking down things and making things tangible for my conscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
So those are some examples of different ways throughout my journey that have helped me be able to advance and transform.
Important, very important. And you know, the changes that we take on, like the adjustments that we make in diet, in changing behaviors, right? Changing habits. We gotta come to a point where our system, you know, like every cell of our being, I hear it once, wants to survive, wants to save energy. So it does takes us more energy to make a new decision, to take that risk, to start that business, to have a new diet and all those things. For me, in my multidimensional self, I skipped time and I was in future and I'm like, what the fuck, I'm doing all of the changes at once. I start changing my diet, I change friends, I change the way I talk, I change the way I exercise, I change the way I identify. And what this causes my system is like an overload of new information. And things in me started to come up and I overreacted and I wasn't respectful anymore to myself and to others in some ways. So I was so over enthusiastic about all the changes that I'm going to make that I was kind of losing my humanness in it. And I was like, you know, when you go into light, but you forget the ground, like it's very dangerous to be in that field whilst living on Earth. And even if you're not on Earth, it's very difficult to hold that. You know, as the right, like it's about balance, and this is what I believe we experience and learn, all of us, and we humans are a great example in that, what it means to integrate our light body into this physical body and to become lighter and higher vibrational whilst being on Earth. You know, it's a real challenge, but it's a blessing to have that journey and to be a soul incarnated in a human body. So I had to learn that, and still today, like drastically the last months this year, I became aware that I was, every time I made changes, I changed too many things at once. So rather than adjusting one single thing, I changed 5 things at once. I changed 5 goals at once. I changed my routine and the things I've eaten and my job. You know, like, how do you want to be consistent in anything in this physical world if you change those things altogether? I tried it. It's kind of funny if I look at it that way. But like, life comes and hits you. It slaps you down. You know, if you can't stand it. And to stand it, it takes fucking a lot of you. And you don't have to go through this. You know, like, I more and more learn to one step at a time, one day at a time, one shift in my routine at a time, and just learn to see how my being is changing with those small adjustments that I make. You know, it really took me some painful moments and fucking lessons in the last year to come to this place, right? And to start being aware of that and consciously slowing myself down so I can listen to my intuitive guidance, which usually would have never told me to wake up at 4 a.m. at the same time, start running at 5, or eat at... Fuck it. I really had to learn what's for me. And through all of this trial and error and making those mistakes, I learned more, and I learned a lot. I maybe even saved some time. But it caused me moments of like, oh, fuck, am I really doing this? So yeah, lessons.
Yep. Lessons, man. And what is it that I was about to say? Yes. So for those out there that could be looking to change their diet, change their lifestyle, whatever it may be, also consider this. Ask questions. Ask questions to your soul family. Ask questions to your community that you know have embarked upon these kind of journeys that you're trying to embark upon. If you know someone that is raw vegan and you want to become raw vegan, ask them some questions. Ask them what they did in their journey, what steps they took, how they got there. If you're wanting to learn how to meditate, you're wanting to learn how to, do affirmations or reprogramming, reach out to those that you know are practitioners and healers and have been doing this for a while. I'm sure a lot of us, especially if you're in this space right now listening to this, some community or other folks out there that have credentials to be able to hand wisdom and knowledge to you and be able to use your everyday practices. So, that right there is just a very simple reminder, along with all of this complexity that we have gone through, is ask questions and use your resources around you. We have beautiful, beautiful beings of DNA and multidimensional libraries of information all around us, as well as human beings that have been through experiences and journeys in this life as well. So I just want to give that reminder of using our resources and asking questions. And also, being your own coach is so big. Like being your own counselor, being your own coach, motivating your emotions, motivating your physical body, giving it the reminder consciously of why you're doing it, what the intention is, the purpose, the beauty, the power of it. Sometimes we don't remind ourselves of these things, and we just get so dragged and drained through the changes. But if we can continue to counsel ourselves and give us those reminders, it can help awaken the biological being, because they'll be listening. It can help our mental health. It can help our emotional state as well. And again, this goes back to the tangibleness. If you want to take steps, you can substitute things as well. So instead of just taking something completely away and then leaving a void in your being, you can find something that would be able to substitute it in a more healthier way, and then start utilizing that substitute slowly but surely, and slowly but surely take yourself off of whatever it is that you want to take yourself off of. So yeah, those are just some other ways for you guys out there that are looking to continue to change and transform your being. And I actually have a video, if we're all open to it, including you over there. If you're open to it, I got a video for us. It's a video about our cellular level health and how it can be impacted by what it is that we are consuming into our being.
How long is it?
It can be as long as we want it to be. So
Easy.
if it needs to be short, it can be short.
Yeah, let's go into it. Like, let's show something short and just give us some information that we can bounce up on.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man.
This will be really helpful, because this will give us perspective from a professional, scientific, and health standpoint, along with the holisticness of what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So how disease happens at the cellular level and how to fix cellular health.
That's kind of how it is with your health. It could be years and years and years before you actually notice that, whoa, hey, something's wrong. Well, the beginning of the problem didn't start, when you noticed it. It was years ahead of time. The second point that we want to talk about is really the cell, because you heard me talk about just a little while ago going upstream and looking at the root cause. Well, today with modern science, more and more talk is being made about so to quickly illustrate what I mean by this is, if we have a cell, every cell in your body has a dual, it's called a bilayer of fat. And primarily the cell membrane is made up a lot of cholesterol. So this fat membrane is very important, because basically it houses the DNA in your cell and little power plants within your cell. They're called mitochondria. They're actually power plants that produce energy. So every living organism produces ATP, which is your energy source. And the important thing to illustrate on this is that within your cell, or on this cell membrane, you have these receptors. And these receptors recognize various things like vitamins and minerals, and hormones, maybe your active thyroid hormone, T3, insulin, leptin, and many other hormones like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all of these things. You see, your cell can't even respond to these hormones and vitamins and minerals until they're received by these receptors. And what I want to illustrate, a major point is that the problem is today is that we have factors that are creating inflammation on this cell wall, like toxins, and we have bad fats, right? Like hydrogenated oils, which are put in all kinds of different foods. And these bad fats actually cause a film on the cell wall. And these bad fats actually don't metabolize out of your body very quickly. They stay in your body a long time, cause a film on that cell wall, and start to cause inflammation. And there's a lot of toxins that actually have an affinity to attach on to the fat membrane and cause more inflammation. And then you can have refined foods like refined white sugar and white flour, very inflammatory to the cells. So refined, we'll call them carbohydrates and sugar. None of that in our diet. So in America, there's a lot of it. Infant actually compete your vitamin and mineral receptors. But you can see now with this inflammation on the cell wall, it starts to blunt these receptors, and the message can't get into the DNA, so that your cells they can't really respond well to the hormone. So if you can't get the message from T3, your thyroid hormone, your blood work can look completely normal, but your body is, in other words, you're asking yourself, well, doctor, everything's going and I feel apart, aren't going well. This is going way upstream and getting to the root. So if we can fix this, then we can start to actually let the innate healing abilities of your body heal itself, which is an awesome thing.
Man, I was just to tell you, like, this is a great point, like a great stopping point, and it's again about the information, like how easily can we decipher information, right? That we have in our field, like that we, through the food that we eat, through alone before we even buy it, to feel into it, like, and have a connection with it, and like that exchange of energy, that relation that we have with everything, really, that we perceive to be outside of us or inside of us, whatever, in a dualistic point, like, what's my relationship with that? And, doing things like having a healthy diet or balanced diet, fasting, those things help me to strengthen that connection, and to become more aware of the relationship between me and the foods that I'm eating, between me and the people that I'm talking to, right? The job that I'm pursuing, and yeah, like, this is kind of what I was pointing towards earlier in the question when I put you on the spot, is because of that stream of information. It's all information. We are all surrounded by information, and we ourselves are information. So how we communicating with each other and how good we communicate with each other is based on our frequency. And if things like in the video, where our cells, the signal can't come in and out clearly because of the fatty substance around it and the inflammation that we caused, right? Very difficult to have a clear mind, right? To have enough energy, it seems, to exercise or to be motivated or to just simply feel great and happy. Like, all those things, they're just like, it's the base that we talk about here. It's really the base, like the foundation of, like, just feeling good and being happy.
Mm-hmm. Well said. And to continue on that, like, to put it in perspective too, is like, just think and like envision, like, if your cell is doing what he was showing in that diagram, which is building up and building up and building up because of the toxins and everything else that builds up on the filming layers of it. And if we know about the science of our cells and biology, we know that our cells basically live off of electrical charge, electrical energy. So in order for that electrical current to continue to pulsate and flow appropriately, continuously, and healthily through that cell, how is it going to really be able to do that if it's caked with layer after layer after layer of toxins and film due to what we're continuing to consume? So what happens is then that cell becomes so compressed, it starts to create tension within our cells. And then that tension creates dryness. And then we start to become dehydrated. And then we start to become unelectrified. I guess I'm gonna make up a word right now. Unelectrified, because the electrical
It
current.
makes total sense to me, this word.
Well,
I get it.
Yeah. So the electric isn't able to be a flowing current through our cells. So then through that, it then starts to deteriorate our functioning of our whole entire being, which then brings us into death energy, where we're just basically dying and we're not even having living, flowing consciousness and electrical charge through our being. So to really see the diagram in a micro perspective of the cell, and then to also compare it with being electromagnetic beings, multidimensional layers, it all comes hand in hand, ties together when it comes to the relation of our human being. So yeah, fasting, as well as eating foods that help you with cleansing and clearing, are good ways to help gain that stability and gain that lightness and electrical charge back into the cells. So another thing too is I want to give this tip, because I know that a lot of us out here are all about the diets, all about fasting, all about all these different things. But I just want to give the reminder, not only, change what you're consuming or add healthier things to what you're consuming, but do not forget the other polarity of cleansing and detoxing yourself as well. Don't just try to keep on adding things, because what can happen is your cells and your organs, like your intestines, your liver and your kidneys, they could be so blocked up right now. They could be so blocked up from over time that the things that you're adding that are supposed to be healing you and bringing upliftment and regenerative energies, like supplements and other foods, they may not even be able to be absorbed correctly into your organs and into your body due to the blockages and buildup in those organs. So that is something to consider in your process, is taking the time and taking the space to detox and cleanse, so that you can have a new empty container to be able to fully absorb and receive the new nutrition, information, and energy, and then stack and build up the new healthy energy into you. Or do both in a combination of yin and yang, where you're detoxing and cleansing, and then you're also adding in the new and healthy vibrations.
Yeah, intuitively just like look where you're at and follow that inspiration that is coming from within you, and then you find your way through it. It's a dance with everything in life, and the relation that you have with life, with the things that you eat, with your habits, the way you think about your habits. Even, am I great because I have all of those habits, or am I still humble and know that I just stay grounded with my approach of life? And I've just done a liver cleanse, and like cleansing can be shitty. A cleansing can be very yucky. Like you feel with less energy, you would like to bring more to the table, but you can't somehow, and it feels like you're hitting a wall. But until you let go and it's clean, seriously, you're born new. And this is kind of what fasting helps you doing. You rejuvenate your, even not eating for a few days or doing intermittent fasting, not eating for a certain period of time, even doing a day for fast for 16 to 20 hours a day, or start with 12 hours a day, wherever you're at, but learn to give your body rest that it does not have to digest. If your entire system is running all the time because it has to digest something, how much energy there's be taken from simply digesting food. Like,
Yeah.
the amount of energy that you have left when you eat less or have like a fasting period daily is the best thing. Can be the best thing. For some people may not. Once a month, a day fasting, or once a week, whatever. There's so many different ways of intermittent fasting or fasting generally that you can do. Just like follow your inspiration and start like experimenting with yourself. I talked before about that. I see myself as an experiment. I'm a human experiment. This is how I see myself, and this is why I try certain things and do things the way I do it. And I like a variety of things. Like when I get stagnant, I do the same things over and over again. I get bored. So I always have to switch some things and adjust. But like inspiration, like follow your inspiration and know why you do the things that you do, which is kind of equal with how your relationship with life is, your relationship with what you do in life. We gotta come to a point where we are in an harmonious relationship. So wellness is our lifestyle, right? Like we're not fighting health, like we're actually healthy. And sometimes we gotta clean up some things, as I did, because what I was eating and consuming from January to June, July wasn't great. So I had like 2.5 months where my body just said like, fucking clean yourself, mate. Get some. Because before I felt great for years because of the way I was consuming, the way I was fasting and all of those things. And somehow the start of the year I wasn't. Maybe it's an 8 and I just had to look at some karmic things in the first part of the year. But you gotta see yourself as an experiment yourself, and just like look what inspires you in terms of like adjusting your diet. Because I feel now we're in autumn, we're going towards the colder time. My body asks for different things than it did in the summertime. So even if we look at that, what's the earth producing right now where you live? And how can you eat as much as you can that comes from the earth where you're at? If I'm in Germany in the winter and I do nothing but eat fruits, there's something that won't work in my system. It would take more energy for me to take what it needs, or my body just does need different things because of the climate and the natural rhythm of nature, which I am part of. We all are part of nature. We gotta learn to work with nature and to live with nature in harmony, rather than trying to, from our egoic mind identity, trying to, I want to eat fruits now, so I just eat fruits. I don't care what grows here or where it comes from or what pesticides are on top of it. I know all of that. And I know that eating pumpkin, and cabbage would be great at this moment. I know all of that, but I don't want to. Like, okay, if you want to go down this road, do it. I can just recommend how I experience it is I'm just way, way more drawn towards the things that grow right now here in Germany or in Netherlands, like looking that I stay in this area with the foods that I'm eating. And this is the first year that I'm doing this consciously, like that, like extreme, but like that consciously doing it and really sticking to it. Not wanting to, or have not even the desire to eat fruits that much. Sometimes I go for it, frozen fruits just from the supermarket or whatever. But we gotta find a balance and a healthy approach, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's always a journey when we go through these periods. And another thing to add out there too is you can also do something like where say you do 2 cold pressed juices or fresh juices, and then you have 1 regular meal of what it is that you would typically eat, so to say. So say you are someone that eats beef or you're someone that eats meat, you do 2 to 3 juices a day and then 1 meal with the meat and stuff like that. That's a way that you could start stepping towards a different diet style if you wanted to, or start cleansing yourself a little bit more than you were, is integrating things like juices, cold pressed juices throughout the day, and then kind of limit how many solid meals you have. So yeah, it's it affects us in so many ways that we may not be able to acknowledge or recognize in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely trust that through these messages and through messages from other spaces as well, that those that really need these messages are going to get them. And they've been given a whole entire treasure of beautiful golden gems by both of us on ways to be able to integrate and also just kind of remember the things that they've already known.
Yeah. Remembrance, right? With our being,
Mm-hmm.
like if we remember, it's not that we really learn something new here. Like we not really. But we kind of find back to who we are. And another key takeaway, I think, is to keep it simple. No matter what you do, keep it simple. Like simplicity as a key, the key to life, right? No matter what you do, if you want to learn about if you want to develop your awareness about your chakras, tuning into those, if you make adjustments in your diet, if you change the things that you listen to, right? If you stop listening to certain people, if you stop watching certain shows, just do one adjustment today, maybe even if you feel like it. Make some adjustment that you can just go for it now. That feels easy as well. Simple goals. You talked about small goals, like I just hear, right? Simple goals, like keep it simple. And make that adjustment and see how you feel by pursuing it. I'm pretty sure something great comes out of it. Mm-hmm. Oh, 10:15 now. Time to, do what Jarne is doing.
Yes, sir. I think it's a great spot to leave off on this beautiful second episode of our Friday expedition. And on this Friday expedition, we explored diet and consumption in a holistic and multidimensional fashion. And we gave you guys a very multidimensional view on this. We even brought in medical health professional to help us as well. So enjoy the layers and enjoy the information, and feel free to reach out to both of us if you would like. And as we close out, I'll go ahead and share with you guys where you can find us at. And for me, this is my link page. It is li.sten.to/sacredlight33. So it has listen.to/sacredlight33. You can find this linked in any of my platform bios. And what we have is registration for the Thanksgiving Soul Fam event that I'm hosting in Ohio, coming up in the 23rd of November. You guys can take a look and browse on my holistic healing services and workshops. You just click go to. Then I have my YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, and I also have reishi coffee as well that I sell. So if you're interested in any of these things, you can check out my link page in any of my platform bios. And then this is what my scheduling page looks like as well. You can browse and see all of my services, and you can book directly through this link as well. And then I'm gonna hand it over to our brother,
Custom
Yana, over there.
meditation. This sounds beautiful, like custom meditation audio, man. This gives me an idea to do it too.
Yeah,
You know, you always get inspiration when you're not looking for it. But custom guided meditation live or custom guided meditation audio, like some personalized frequencies channeled right from the divine for you. That sounds amazing. Yeah.
exactly. And then I allow them to customize it, as in they can choose the frequency, the background. They can use different archetypes that they're like in the meditation. They can choose the time and space that they experience, as well as the intentional purpose of meditation.
Good man. Nice one. So
Yeah.
everybody check it out.
And then over to you, we have,
Not
it's not
working
letting
the
me
link.
connect. Yeah, it's not letting me connect to your website for some reason.
Yeah, we are changing some things right now. He wanted to look at it yesterday. I will check out with him today. But anyway, like I mean,
Okay.
if you go, you know, guys, if you go on my Instagram, there it is. You know, you can reach out to me there. You know, building a platform right now where everything is in view. You know, the art, like you talked about Nikola Tesla and energy and frequency. If you work with like 369 as an example, you know, if you study things like, you just get immersed in sacred geometry, which is the basis of the universe, is how I see it. You know, everything is connected through pattern, and if you learn to analyze your pattern in life, right, how things show up again and again in your life, like, or you know, just why you meet people at a certain time, or what met, like, and you know, this person that you've just met, like a total stranger, gave you some information that you can now take on with you and like just super resonate with you. Like, you got to learn to analyze your life and blueprint. You know, I do meditations as well. You know, what I want to do again, like those live meditations here for you all to just get us together and meditate and share that space and meditation. You know, it wasn't always a fun ride. If you look at my face on this picture when I was a child, like, just scroll down a little.
Mhm.
Yeah, like you know, like my face wasn't really, I was a sick child, I must say. I had to deal with lots of issues, health issues, when I was younger. And you know, I had to learn to understand myself, and even in those times, with those open eyes, right? We all see children like this these days. They all come like with those eyes and look at you. So we gotta learn to protect our children and to guide them and to teach them what they need to hear. You know, this is what we do with those conversations as well here, Christo. Like, we gotta protect our children, like, and the inner child in us, which brings us to the event that you have tomorrow. Man, you know, if you want to go deep, I'm your man. Like, transformation is my thing, healing is my thing. You know, I deal with lots of human issues daily, and I'm just like, I just became okay with it and just accepted everything that I see, everything that I am, everything that I'm capable of doing. I accept more and more, you know, letting go of those limitations and helping people through transformation and healing. You know, like, it's all about happiness. Like, you got to learn to get your inner child free, to free your inner child and to be joyful in your creation, right? You're here to create, not to only consume. You know, start creating and consume what you need to consume in order for you to create. Yeah. Man.
Beautiful. I just saw 2 helicopters fly right next to each other, super low. That was really interesting. Thank you for sharing that, brother.
Yeah, important. You know, maybe something we can talk on next week. Something in the direction inner child.
Ooh,
You know,
that would be beautiful, especially after my retreat this weekend.
Yeah.
I have plenty of stuff to share. Yeah, that'd be
you know
great.
what comes up, so I think we should talk about it.
Absolutely. There it is, folks. Next Friday on our Friday expedition, myself, ChristoLight, Yana, we will be live at 3 p.m. for the topic of the inner child.
Yeah. Free it. Let it be free, and allow yourself to be expressed fully and joyfully in your state of being, in your natural state of being, in your purest state of being, right? So, yeah, get it done.
We'll see you guys then. You guys can follow us and catch us on our other live spaces on our platforms as well. We appreciate your support, your subscribes, your follows, your shares. And also, if you guys have questions, reach out. If you want to have services, you want to have space held, we are both here for you. Just reach out. And with that being said, you guys have a blessed and beautiful weekend. Happy Friday. Wholeness and balanced love.
Inner child, here's your chance. Welcome to our Inner Child Healing Retreat in beautiful Blue Ash, Ohio. This Saturday, October 26th, get ready for a day filled with unique activities and holistic experiences. We kick off at 10 a.m. with a warm, homemade chili lunch. After that, we dive straight into a vulnerability intro circle, setting the stage for connection and growth. Then, join Mark ChristoLight for an inner child healing journaling and meditation workshop. A perfect way to explore and heal deep within. Need some free space after the workshop? You can opt for one-on-one healing D&T breathwork with Chelsea Hall. Connect with Thomas Cox III as he live paints, or simply enjoy playful moments with pumpkins. At 4 p.m., prepare to expand your mind with a Hermetics workshop led by Adam Ruth, diving into ancient philosophy. For dinner, we've got homemade mashed potatoes, salad, and a delicious chickpea pasta salad. And yes, snacks like fresh fruit and Rishi coffee will be available all day. As sundown approaches, Chris Rust will mesmerize us with fire and flow arts, with Adam joining in. Remember, this retreat is drug and alcohol free, ensuring a pure healing environment. All this for just $44 per person, and kids 12 and under join for free. Each guest must fill out a registration form to help us best serve your experience. Find the form link in the post description and reach out to Marcus ChristoLight with any questions. Don't miss this chance to heal, connect, and transform.